Hi, good morning, students. I hope you all are feeling great at your homes. So, today we are going to start with the next unit, and the name of the unit is Nurturing Nature. So, the fourth chapter of your new pathways is A Day in the Country. This chapter is basically about two children and one cobbler. The name of the cobbler is Terenti. So, as the unit suggests, nurturing nature, in this chapter, this cobbler named Terenti, he gives basic values of nature to both the children. So, he tells that why we should love nature and what are the elements of the nature that we should adore. Okay, so let's read the chapter line by line. Read about two children and a cobbler named Terenti who teaches them valuable lessons about nature. Between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning, a dark leaden colored mass is creeping over the sky towards the sun. Red zigzags of lightning gleam here and there across it. There is a sound of faraway rumbling. A warm wind frolics over the grass, bends the trees, and stirs up the dust. In a minute, there will be a spurt of May rain and a real storm will begin. So, the time is around 8:15, 8:30. So, it's between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning. As I already told you that this lesson is about nature. This cobbler, Terenti, he gives valuable lessons about nature to these two children. So, dark leaden colored mass is dark gray colored. Okay, so the sky is dark gray. So before rain you see black clouds, you see gray clouds. So the weather is like that. It is going to rain here. So its dark gray colored mass is creeping over the sky. So the sky is covered with this dark gray clouds. Red zigzags of lightning gleam here and there across it. So it's thundering also. You could hear the sounds of lightning and thunder. There is a sound of far away rumbling. A warm wind frolics over the grass. So frolics means moves playfully. So a warm wind is moving over the grass, and because of that pressure, the trees also gets bent, and it also stirs up the dust. In a minute, there will be a spurt of May rain and a real storm will begin. Okay, storm, you already know, Andhi Tufan. So the weather is rainy. It's about to rain there. So that's the first paragraph. In first paragraph, you are just getting the background of the chapter, that how is the weather. Okay, how the nature is shown by this author. He is telling you something about nature, that what is happening around it. So it's a background scene basically. So here in the second paragraph, we'll come across the characters. Fiokla. So the name of this girl is Fiokla. She is a little girl of 6 and she is running through the village. So she is going here and there through the village. He is looking for somebody. That means she is finding somebody. Who she is finding? She is finding the cobbler Terenti. The white-haired, barefoot child is pale. So her hair are white. Basically, you can say blonde. Or to get a clear picture, you could just see the picture given on page number 39. So she is having a blonde hair. She is barefoot. That means she is not wearing any slippers or shoes. Her eyes are wide open and her lips are trembling. So her eyes are opened widely and also her lips are trembling, means shivering. Okay. So this is a brief character sketch of one of our characters, a little girl who is 6 years old, Fiokla. Uncle, where is Terenti? She asks everyone she meets. So now what is the basic question that she is asking everybody she is meeting is, Uncle, where is Terenti? So one thing is pretty clear here, that she is finding that cobbler. No one answers. They are all preoccupied with the approaching storm and take refuge in their huts. So, whenever she's asking a question, nobody is replying. So, there is a reason why nobody is replying, because they all are already occupied, or they already are very busy with the approaching storm. Approaching storm is the storm that is about to come or that has started coming, and they are busy in taking refuge. So they are just trying to go inside their huts before they get wet into the rain, or before they get prey of that bad weather. So you also do like that. If you're somewhere outside and it's about to rain, you just try to fit into your huts or places so that you don't get into it. So they all are doing that, they all are busy, and nobody actually answers her. At last she meets Silanti Silich, the sacristan, Terenti's friend. So sacristan is, the meaning is already given, a person in charge of a sacristy, a room in a church where articles of worship are kept. So it's like it's a room in the church where all the articles of worshipping are kept. So he is Terenti's friend. So finally she asks that person. He is coming along, staggering from the wind. Staggering is ladkhadana, okay, just because it's all windy, so he's just staggering, he's walking like that. Uncle, where is Terenti? So the question that she asks him also is same. Where is Terenti? At the kitchen gardens, answers Silenti. So kitchen gardens is basically vegetable farm. So he says that he's at the kitchen gardens. The girl runs behind the huts to the kitchen gardens and there finds Terenti. So she quickly runs and she finds him. The tall old man with a thin pock-marked face, very long legs and bare feet, dressed in a woman's tattered jacket, standing near the vegetable plots, looking with drowsy eyes at the dark storm cloud. On his long, crane like legs, he sways in the wind like a starling coat. So, this is a very good description that is given to you for this character, that is Terenti. Okay, so she finds him, and he's tall old man with a thin pock-marked face. Pock-marked is, pock is basically a pimple. So sometimes you get mark on your face because of that pimple, and he's having very long legs. He's also barefoot, that means he's not wearing anything in his feet. He's dressed in a woman's tattered jacket, tatter is torn, standing near the vegetable plots. You can see, you can just notice this character again in the picture given on page number 39. Looking with drowsy eyes, drowsy is sleepy or lazy, at the dark storm cloud. So he's just looking at the clouds. On his long crane like legs, crane is a bird who is having very long legs, so it's like he's also having long legs. He sways in the wind like a starling coat. Starling coat is again a bird with a straight beak, so he's standing like that. Now she says, Uncle Terenti. The white-headed girl addresses him, Uncle darling. So now when she finds him, she starts speaking, Uncle Terenti. And now the author has given the white-headed girl, okay, a new character sketch added to that. Uncle darling, Terenti bends down to Fiocla. So see how he is bending towards her, and his grim face is overspread with a smile. Grim is a face expression where your lips are open and your teeth are visible. That's also a sort of smile. But now after bending to her, so he's just smiling, such as come into people's faces when they look at something little foolish and absurd but warmly loved. So the smile when you give when you see something something foolish or something absurd. Absurd means not clear, but you actually love it. Oh, Fiocla, he says tenderly, where have you come from? So now he says that where have you come from? Tenderly is softly. Uncle Terenti, says Fiocla with a sob. Sob is the effect after you cry. You just pant over, that is sobbing. Tugging at the lapel of the cobbler's coat. Brother Danilka has had an accident. Come along. What sort of accident? Oh, what thunder! Holy, holy, holy. What sort of accident? So here she starts speaking and she tells that brother Danilka has had an accident. So here she is asking Terenti to come with her. And then he gets a little tense and he asks that what sort of an accident it is. And then he says, oh, what a thunder. Holy, holy, holy. What sort of accident? In the count's copse. Copse is like growth of small trees. जिसको आप झाड़ी बोलते हैं. Then Elka stuck his hand into a hole in a tree. So there is a hole in a tree and she's saying that he got his hand stuck in that and he can't get it out. Come along, uncle. Do be kind and pull his hand out. So basically why she was finding Uncle Terenti everywhere, the reason behind is she wants help from him. Her brother's Danilka, his hand is stuck into a tree's hole. So she wants him to come with this girl. The day, how was it? He put his hand in. What for? So now he asks the reason that how his hand got stuck there. Why did he put his hand inside that hole? He wanted to get a cuckoo's egg out of the hole for me. So the girl answers that he wanted to get a cuckoo's egg out of that hole. And why? For whom? For this little girl. The day has hardly begun and already you are in trouble. So this person says that the day has just begun and you are already in trouble. See, Terenti shook his head. So he moved his head in both the directions. Well, what am I to do with you now? I must come, little child. So now this person says, okay, I can't do anything now. I think I must come with you and help you out, and I should help your brother in taking or pulling his hand out of that hole. And there they both go. Terenti comes out of the kitchen garden and lifting high his long legs begins striding down the village street. He walks quickly without stopping. Fiocla can hardly keep up with him. Now he comes out of that kitchen garden where he was standing, that means that vegetables farm, and he lifted his high long legs. Lift means kuch uthana, so his legs are long as I already told you, and he begins striding. Striding means sort of jumping or taking long steps. It's walking like that, and he walks quickly without stopping. So he is walking really quickly and Fiocla is not able to keep up with him. She is not able to match the speed with which this Terenti is walking. They come out of the village and turn along the dusty road towards the Count's copse that lies dark blue in the distance. So now they are out of the village and they are walking along that dusty road towards the Count's copse. So they are walking on the road which is going towards this place where her brother is standing. It is about a mile and a half away. So it's about 1.5 miles away from where they are standing. The clouds have by now covered the sun. So as I already told you, the weather is not good. So the clouds have already covered the sun, and afterwards there is not a speck of blue left in the sky. So what is the meaning here? That there was not even a dot, or not even, there was not even a stigma of blue in the sky. So when it is about to rain, it's all black, it's all gray, you can't see blue clouds, you cannot see blue sky. So the same is the weather here, and it's all about nature. Keep one thing in mind, that the story is plotting or revolving around the nature only. Okay, so he's telling everything related to nature, he's giving you the minute details, because he's saying that there was not even a dot, not even an inch of blue left in the sky. It grows dark, that means it's black or it's gray. The first raindrops, big and heavy, like dark dots on the dusty road. So now here comes the rain. So how he's explaining it, the first raindrops, the raindrops are big and heavy, and they are like dark dots on that dusty road. So if the road is clean and it suddenly starts raining, so what you can see is, you can just see the dark dots of the rain. A big drop falls on Fiocla's cheek and glides like a tear down her chin. So there is a big drop that falls on her cheek and it glides, that means it comes down like a tear down her chin, जैसे आंसू बहते हैं आपके नीचे. So in the same manner, that droplet glides like a tear down her Fiocla's chin. The rain has begun, mutters the cobbler, kicking up the dust with his bare bony feet. So bony feet is the reference to his thin feet. So what is happening? He says the rain has begun, and he kicks up the dust with his bare and thin feet. That's fine, Fiocla, old girl. The grass and the trees are fed by the rain as we are by bread. So he's explaining the girl that as we eat food, so the grass and the trees, the only food to them is water, and that comes in the form of rain. So fed is the second form of feed. The grass and the trees are fed by the rain. That means if they feel hungry, so they are being fed by the rain as we are fed by the bread. Okay. And as for the thunder, don't you be frightened. Why should it harm a little thing like you? So he's saying that the thunder, the lightning sound that you could hear, don't be afraid of that. It's not going to harm a little cute thing like you. Okay, so he's saying that you should not be afraid of this nature. It's not going to harm you if you don't harm it. You are just a little creature, so why is it going to say anything to you? So he's just consoling her, he's just encouraging her not to be afraid of anything. As soon as the rain begins, the wind drops. The only sound is the patter of rain dropping like fine shots on the young rye and the parched road. So when rain begins, then the wind stops blowing, and the only sound they could hear is the patter of rain dropping like fine shots on the young rye and the parched road. So you know how does rain sound when it rains heavily? You could just hear the sound of those droplets that are falling on the ground. So they could also hear that rain dropping sound, and that was falling on the dry road. We shall get soaked, Fiocla, mutters Terenti, that you should not get worried. There won't be a dry spot left on us. Oh, my girl, it's run down my neck. But don't be frightened, silly. The grass will be dry again. The earth will be dry again. And we shall be dry again. There is the same sun for us all. So he's saying that don't worry. There won't be a dry spot left on us. That means we are going to drenched in that rain. We are going to be wet in the rain. But don't you worry. The grass will be dry again. That means the sun will come again and we all will be dried. So you don't worry about it. If there is the same sun for us all, that if grass could dry, if trees could dry, if your environment could dry, so why can't we? There is the same sun that comes up for everybody like us. Okay, so you could see the little detailings that he has given about the nature. A flash of lightning, some 14 feet long, gleams above their head. So there is lightning, there is thunder, the जो बिजली कड़कती है, those sounds, okay, and they are constantly noticing it. There is a loud peal of thunder, and it seems to Fiokla that something big, heavy, and round is rolling over the sky and tearing it open exactly over her head. So this little girl is little afraid because she is thinking that something wrong is happening in the sky. There is something very big, very heavy that is rolling over the sky. कि कुछ बहुत भारी sky में roll कर रहा है, and it is just tearing it open exactly over her head. So she is thinking कि जो सब कुछ हो रहा है वो उसके सर के ऊपर हो रहा है, and she is little afraid that I shouldn't be affected by all of these things. So again this person Terenti says, don't be afraid little girl, it is not from spite that it thunders, Terenti says. So he again tells her that it's not any sort of unkindness of nature or unkindness of sky that it is thundering. You should not be afraid of it. It's nothing wrong. It is natural. It all happens. So we see that he keeps on telling her like all the details about the nature. Terenti's and Fiokla's feet are covered with lumps of heavy wet clay. So now when it rains and if there is a mud, so it becomes wet. कीचड़ बोलते हो जिसको आप, wet clay. So their feet are covered with that. It is slippery and difficult to walk. So when it covers your feet, so it's little difficult for everybody to walk on it. So for both of them also it is little difficult. It's slippery and it's difficult for them to walk on that. But Terenti strides on more and more rapidly. So now what this person is doing, he is taking long steps. He has started walking quickly so that he doesn't get stuck in that wet clay, but the weak little girl is breathless and ready to drop. This girl is feeling little low and she is feeling breathless. So when you walk rapidly and when you walk a long distance, so you start panting and you feel like you are not able to take or you are not able to breathe properly. So she is also thinking that she will drop or she will fall anywhere. One, she is already afraid of it, and second, it's all wet, right? I hope you all are coming along. So from here we will continue in the next class. Bye bye class.